The morning sun cast long shadows across James Walker's front porch as he sat in his old wooden chair, watching his German Shepherd Rex chase butterflies in the garden. The dog's playful barks echoed across the empty fields that surrounded their small house on the colony world of New Haven. James smiled as he sipped his coffee, but his eyes remained alert, constantly scanning the horizon. Old habits died hard, especially for a former super soldier. His left hand unconsciously touched the small scar behind his ear, the external mark of the combat enhancements that lay dormant inside his body. 10 years had passed since he left the Augmented Combat Division. 10 years of trying to forget the missions, the kills, and the modifications that had turned him into something more than human. Rex trotted back to the porch, tail wagging, and placed his head on James's knee. The warmth of the dog's presence helped push away the dark memories that threatened to surface. "Good boy," James whispered, scratching behind Rex's ears. The dog had been with him for 7 years now, ever since James found him abandoned near the colony's spaceport. They recognized something in each other that day, two lost souls who needed a friend. The quiet moment was interrupted by the buzz of James's comm unit. The colony's security chief, Tom Miller, appeared on the small holographic display. "Walker, we've got another problem at the mining facility," Tom said, his face lined with worry. "Those new security doors you installed keep malfunctioning. Could you take a look?" "On my way," James replied, standing up. He had built a quiet life here as a security consultant, using just enough of his military experience to be helpful without raising suspicions. The settlers didn't need to know about his past or the deadly capabilities that lay dormant within him. Rex followed as James walked to his ground vehicle, a sturdy but unassuming transport that blended in with the colony's farming equipment. The dog jumped into the passenger seat, already familiar with their daily routine. As they drove through the colony's dirt roads, James observed the simple life around him. Farmers tended their crops in the terraformed fields, children played in front of their prefab homes, and miners headed to their shifts in the nearby mountains. None of them knew they lived alongside one of the most lethal soldiers ever produced by the human military. The mining facility came into view, a sprawling complex of metal and concrete that provided New Haven with its main source of income. James parked his vehicle and let Rex out, the dog immediately beginning his own patrol of the perimeter. Even without active duty training, Rex had picked up on James's security mindset. Inside the facility, James quickly found the problem with the security doors. As he worked on the control panel, his enhanced vision automatically analyzed weak points and escape routes. Another habit he couldn't shake. His augmented brain processed the facility's layout, calculating defensive positions and potential threats, even though he knew the colony hadn't seen violence in its 15 years of existence. "You're a lifesaver, Walker," Tom said as the doors hummed back to life. "Don't know what we'd do without you here." James nodded, allowing himself a small smile. This was why he had chosen New Haven, a place where his skills could help protect people without the need for violence. Here, he could be useful without being dangerous. The sun was setting when James and Rex returned home. As they sat on the porch watching the stars appear, James felt the familiar weight of his past pressing down on him. But Rex's warm presence at his feet kept him anchored to the present, to this peaceful life he had built. Little did James know that high above New Haven's atmosphere, beyond the range of the colony's basic sensors, an alien scout ship was about to change everything. The quiet life he had carefully constructed was drawing to an end, and the warrior he had buried deep inside would soon be needed again. But for now, in this moment, there was just a man and his dog, watching the stars come out one by one. The alien scout ship of the Meridian Collective hung in high orbit, its adaptive camouflage making it invisible to the colony's basic sensors. Inside, Commander Vrax studied the settlement through high-powered imaging devices, his 4 eyes narrowing with contempt. "These humans are even more primitive than our reports suggested," he said to his crew. "Their most advanced building is a simple mining facility. This will be an easy conquest." Down on the surface, James Walker woke with a start. Rex stood at his bedroom window, growling softly at the pre-dawn sky. James's enhanced senses, though dormant, picked up on his dog's unease. Something felt wrong. At breakfast, the colony's emergency radio crackled with unusual reports. Farmers described strange lights in the night sky. Miners talked about weird equipment malfunctions. The colony's small defense force dismissed these as typical frontier paranoia. But James knew better. He'd seen too much during his military service to ignore the signs. While checking the mining facility's security that morning, he noticed subtle anomalies in their communication system. Someone, or something, was probing their defenses. "We need to increase security," James told Tom Miller during their daily meeting. "These incidents aren't random." Tom laughed, scratching his gray beard. "Come on, Walker. We're the most boring colony in human space. Who'd waste time attacking us?" Before James could argue further, Rex's barking pulled their attention to the window. A shimmer moved across the sky, like heat waves on a summer day, but wrong somehow. James's dormant combat systems tingled, trying to analyze the distortion. That afternoon, more reports came in. 3 farming drones had vanished. A weather monitoring station went dark. The colony's leaders called it equipment failure, but James recognized a pattern. The aliens were testing them, learning their weaknesses. He took Rex into the hills overlooking the colony, watching through his old military binoculars. The dog's ears perked up at sounds too faint for normal humans to hear. James's enhanced vision caught glimpses of movement that shouldn't be there, the telltale signs of cloaked scouts. "They think we're defenseless," he muttered to Rex. "They're wrong." Back in orbit, Commander Vrax prepared his report to the collective. "The humans have no significant military presence. Their technology is basic. They will serve well as labor once conquered." One of his officers spoke up. "Sir, we detected some unusual readings from the settlement. One of the humans is still just a human." Vrax interrupted. "Continue the reconnaissance. We attack in 3 days." James spent that night reviewing the colony's defensive capabilities. 1 small security force, 3 automated turrets, a basic shield generator that barely worked. Against an advanced alien force, it would mean nothing. He went to his bedroom closet and opened a hidden panel in the floor. Inside lay a small metal box, his emergency beacon to ACD command. 1 signal and his combat systems would be reactivated, but that would mean giving up his peaceful life, becoming a weapon again. Rex whined softly, sensing his master's distress. James closed the panel without sending the signal. "Not yet, boy. Let's be sure first." The next morning, James found strange footprints near his house. 3 toed marks that disappeared after a few steps. He followed Rex into the woods, where they discovered trees marked with symbols that didn't match any human language. When he reported this to colony security, they still wouldn't listen. "Probably kids playing pranks," they said, "or wild animals." Standing on his porch that evening, James watched the colonists go about their normal lives, unaware of the danger above. Rex stayed close to his side, both of them feeling the approaching storm. In orbit, Commander Vrax gave the order, "Begin the final phase of reconnaissance. Soon, these humans will learn their place in the galaxy." The quiet life James had built was about to shatter. The only question was, when the aliens finally showed themselves, would he be ready to become the soldier he once was? James woke to the sound of Rex's fierce barking and distant explosions. Through his window, he saw 3 massive alien ships descending from the clouds, their hull designs unlike anything in human space. Smaller craft swarmed from them like angry wasps. "This is what we were waiting for, boy," James said, quickly pulling on his boots. His hands didn't shake. They never did. Years of military conditioning stayed with you, even when dormant. The colony's warning sirens began to wail far too late to make a difference. James grabbed his emergency pack and headed for the door, Rex at his heels. They needed to reach the colony's shelter before. A blast of energy struck the ground nearby, throwing dirt into the air. Through the dust, James saw figures moving. Tall, four-eyed aliens in sleek armor, carrying weapons that pulsed with strange light. "Move," James ordered Rex as more explosions rocked the colony. They ran toward the settlement, where chaos had erupted. Colonists fled in every direction, while alien troops methodically advanced through the streets. The colony's security force tried to fight back. Their bullets bounced harmlessly off the aliens' energy shields. The automated defense turrets were destroyed before they could fully activate. James and Rex reached the main street just as a group of colonists rushed from the medical center, carrying children and elderly patients. An alien patrol spotted them, raising their weapons. Rex didn't hesitate. The German shepherd launched himself at the nearest alien, his powerful jaws finding a gap in the creature's armor. The alien screamed in a high-pitched tone that hurt human ears. The other aliens turned, momentarily distracted from the fleeing colonists. "Rex, come back," James shouted, his enhanced vision already calculating trajectories, weak points, combat solutions. But his systems were still locked down, leaving him with only his base abilities. The alien that Rex had attacked threw the dog off and aimed its weapon. James sprinted forward, knowing he wouldn't make it in time. Rex stood his ground, barking fiercely, giving the colonists precious seconds to escape. The alien weapon hummed. A burst of blue energy struck Rex directly in the chest. "No!" James's scream echoed across the battlefield. He reached Rex just as his faithful companion collapsed. The dog's eyes met his, still full of loyalty and love. Then they closed for the last time. The alien commander stepped forward, speaking through a translation device. "Earth pets are as primitive as their masters. Now you will learn your place in the galaxy." Something broke inside James Walker at that moment. The careful walls he had built around his military past crumbled. His hand touched the scar behind his ear, the access point to his combat systems. The aliens raised their weapons, expecting an easy kill. They didn't notice how James's eyes had changed, becoming sharper, more focused. They didn't see how his muscles tensed in ways that normal human muscles couldn't. "You don't understand what you've done," James said quietly, gently laying Rex's body down. "You could have conquered this colony. You could have killed these people. I would have fought you, but I would have shown mercy." His hand pressed against the scar, activating his emergency beacon. Deep inside his body, dormant systems began to wake up. Strength flooded his muscles. Combat data filled his vision. "But you killed my dog." The alien commander laughed, the sound harsh through the translator. "And what difference does that make, human?" James stood slowly, his body beginning to move with deadly precision as his combat augmentations came fully online. For the first time, the alien saw something flicker in his eyes that made them step back, something that their species would soon learn to fear. "It makes," James said, his voice as cold as space itself, "all the difference in the world." The first alien died before it could raise its weapon. James moved with impossible speed, his enhanced muscles launching him forward faster than the human eye could follow. His hand crushed the alien's throat through its armor. "Impossible," the alien commander shouted, firing his weapon. But James was already gone, his augmented reflexes making the energy blast look slow. Pain shot through his body as dormant combat systems reactivated. His bones creaked as military-grade reinforcements hardened them. His vision flickered as tactical overlays came online, highlighting enemy weak points and calculating combat solutions. "ACD command, this is Soldier J-157. James spoke into his neural comm while dodging another blast. "Authorization code: Sierra Echo Victor Echo November. Full combat reactivation required." A familiar voice responded in his head. "Walker, it's been 10 years. Are you sure about this?" James glanced at Rex's body as he snapped another alien's arm. "They killed my dog. There was a pause. Understood. Reactivation authorized. God help them. Fire filled James's veins as his full capabilities unlocked. Strength enhancers tripled his muscle power. Reaction boosters accelerated his nervous system. Combat databases flooded his mind with 10,000 ways to kill. The remaining aliens backed away, finally sensing the change in their prey. Their scanners showed James's biological readings going off the charts. "What are you?" the commander demanded. James's voice was calm as his systems reached full power. "I am the thing your people should have researched before attacking this colony. I am the reason humans survived their bloodiest wars. I am the monster your children will fear." He moved. The aliens' advanced targeting systems couldn't track him. Their energy shields meant nothing against his enhanced strength. Their armor crumpled under his strikes. 2 aliens fled toward their ship. James let them go. He wanted survivors to spread the word. The commander fired desperately, each shot missing as James's combat computer calculated and executed perfect evasive maneuvers. The alien's translator screamed in panic as James reached him. "The collective will send more ships," the commander gasped. "This whole colony will burn." James lifted the alien with one hand, his augmented muscles making the armored creature feel light as a child. "Good. I want them to come. I want them to learn." The sound of bones breaking echoed across the battlefield. James stood alone among the fallen aliens, his systems now fully awake. Data scrolled across his vision. Weapon analyses, tactical readouts, satellite feeds his enhanced brain could now access. Everything he had locked away for 10 peaceful years was back. He walked to Rex's body and knelt beside his faithful friend. "I'm sorry I didn't activate sooner, boy. I won't make that mistake again." His combat systems highlighted movement. Survivors hiding in buildings, watching him with fear. They had just seen their quiet neighbor transform into something both magnificent and terrifying. James activated his neural comm again. "Command," he advised. "Alien invasion force at Colony New Haven. Request full tactical upload of current human-alien combat protocols." "Uploading now," the voice replied. "Walker, how bad is this going to get?" James watched the 2 alien survivors reach their ship, knowing they would report what they had seen. His tactical computer was already planning the coming war. "They're going to learn what happens when you kill a super soldier's dog," he answered. "And they're going to learn why the human military keeps us locked away until we're needed." The data upload completed. James now had everything he needed to fight an alien army. His body hummed with power, combat drugs, and enhanced adrenaline, keeping his systems at peak efficiency. In orbit, the alien ships began emergency protocols. On the ground, James Walker walked toward the colony's command center, his enhanced mind already formulating strategies. The peace-loving man was gone. The soldier had returned. And the galaxy was about to learn why you should never, ever kill a super soldier's dog. 3 alien patrol ships exploded in the night sky above New Haven. Their crews never saw what hit them, only a shadow that moved too fast for their sensors to track. Inside the colony's command center, Tom Miller watched the tactical display with wide eyes. "That's the 5th group tonight," he whispered. "How is he doing this?" James stood in the corner, his enhanced vision reviewing combat data. His body had fully adjusted to the reactivated systems now. Every movement was precise, calculated, lethal. The aliens' technology was advanced, but his augmentations could predict their patterns. "Their ships have a weak point in their rear shield generators," he explained, his voice mechanical and cold. "Standard Meridian collective design flaw. They never fixed it because no one had ever survived long enough to exploit it. Until now." High above the colony, the alien fleet was in chaos. Their sensors showed impossible readings. A single human moving faster than their best fighters, stronger than their powered armor, smarter than their combat computers. "Deploy the hunter-killer drones," the new fleet commander ordered. "Find this human demon." Hundreds of floating orbs descended from the alien ships, their scanning beams sweeping the colony. James watched them through walls using his thermal vision. His combat computer calculated their search pattern. "They're learning," he muttered, "getting smarter." A young colonist brought him a data pad. "Sir, we found these in the alien commander's ship. Battle plans. They were going to take our children first." Something flickered in James's enhanced eyes, a trace of the fury that burned beneath his mechanical precision. The combat drugs in his system spiked, but his training kept him controlled. He stepped outside. The alien drones spotted him immediately. His tactical display showed their targeting systems activating. They thought they had him surrounded. "Come on," James whispered. "Show me what you've got." The drones attacked as one, energy weapons charging, but James was already moving. He leaped 20 feet straight up, his enhanced muscles making the jump look effortless. 2 drones collided trying to track him. He landed on a third drone, his reinforced fingers crushing its hull. Using it as a shield, he threw it into 2 more. The explosion lit up the night sky. The remaining drones tried to retreat. James didn't let them. He sprinted up the wall of a building, launched himself between them, and systematically destroyed each one. His combat computer recorded their destruction for later analysis. From their ships, the aliens watched in horror as their best hunting machines fell to pieces. "What kind of human is this?" one officer asked. Their commander had no answer. None of their intelligence suggested humans could fight like this. None of their data indicated what they were truly dealing with. James stood among the broken drones, scanning the sky. His enhanced hearing picked up alien communications. They were calling for reinforcements. Good. Let them come. He walked to the colony's memorial park, where they had buried wrecks. A simple marker stood there. "Here lies a faithful friend who saved others." "They're starting to fear us," James told the grave. But not enough. Not yet. His tactical systems highlighted new targets. Alien ground forces trying to set up a forward base in the hills. They had brought heavier weapons this time. Better shields. Stronger armor. It wouldn't matter. "Sir," Tom approached carefully. "Command says more alien ships just entered the system. At least 3 times what we faced before." James nodded. His combat computer was already formulating new strategies. The aliens thought numbers would save them. They thought they could overwhelm him with superior forces. They didn't understand. Every alien ship that arrived was just another target. Every soldier they sent was just another lesson to teach. "Let them come," James said, his enhanced muscles tensing for the next hunt. "They still haven't learned the most important rule of warfare." "What's that?" Tom asked. "Never kill a super soldier's dog." The alien fleet commander stood before the holographic display, watching recordings of their defeats. 7 days had passed since they attacked the colony. 7 days of constant losses, their finest weapons shattered, their best troops broken. "Play it again," he ordered. The image showed James Walker tearing through their newest battle tank like it was made of paper. "Slow it down. Maximum enhancement." Finally, they saw it. The subtle glow beneath the human skin. The impossible precision of his movements. The way his eyes processed information faster than any natural being could. "By the stars," the commander whispered. "He's not just a human. He's one of their living weapons." An analyst stepped forward, holding a data crystal. "Sir, we found something in their military databases. A project called the Augmented Combat Division. They build warriors, enhance them, turn them into something else." The hologram changed, showing classified human military files. Images of soldiers being transformed. Medical diagrams of combat augmentations. Training records that made the alien commander's blood run cold. "How many?" he asked. "How many of these things do the humans have?" "Unknown, sir. But this one, he was one of their best. Soldier J-157. His kill count in the border wars." The analyst couldn't finish the sentence. Another explosion rocked their command ship. Through the viewport, they watched 3 more of their vessels fall from the sky, torn apart by an enemy they couldn't even see. "Send the message," the commander ordered. "Tell the collective what we're facing. Tell them to send everything." But the communications array stayed silent. On a screen, they watched James Walker lower his weapon. He had already destroyed their long-range transmitters. They were alone. In the colony below, James received the data feed from his latest attacks. His combat systems had adapted to the aliens' technology, learning to exploit every weakness. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. "They know what you are now," Tom said, watching James check his enhanced muscles for damage. "Does it matter?" "It changes their strategy," James replied. His tactical computer showed him the aliens regrouping, changing formations. They'll stop treating this like a simple conquest. Now it's a real war. More alien ships appeared in orbit, massive ones this time. Dreadnoughts, planet killers. The collective was done playing games. James walked to the window, his enhanced vision zooming in on the new threats. His combat computer calculated the odds, 1,000s to 1 against him. His systems should have registered fear. Instead, he smiled. On the alien command ship, they watched him through their best surveillance equipment. "Look at him," the commander said. "He knows he's outnumbered, outgunned, yet he shows no fear." "Sir," an officer called out, "we're detecting energy signatures. More of them, all across human space." The commander rushed to the display. Dots of light were appearing everywhere. Hidden bunkers opening. Secret bases activating. Thousands of signals just like Walker's. "The ACD program," the analyst whispered. "It wasn't disbanded. They just hid them, waiting." James's neural comm crackled. "Walker, this is ACD command. We're picking up major alien fleet movements near you. Need assistance." He thought of Rex, of the simple life they'd shared, of the peace that had been shattered. "Negative, command. But stay alert. These aliens need to learn a lesson about humanity." "Understood. Show them why we keep our super soldiers sleeping until they're needed." The alien commander stared at the tactical display in horror. More human signals were appearing every second. An entire army of enhanced warriors, awakening from their peaceful lives, ready to defend their species. And it had all started because his troops killed one man's dog. "Send the order," he said quietly. "All ships prepare for maximum combat. We just started a war with humanity's worst nightmare." James checked his systems one last time. The real battle was about to begin. The alien command ship's bridge fell silent as James Walker stepped through the broken doors. Bodies of their best guards lay behind him. Their strongest shields had failed. Their most powerful weapons had meant nothing. "You could have run," James said, his enhanced muscles barely showing strain after hours of combat. "When you realize what I was, you could have left this system. Left human space entirely." The alien commander stood tall, though his scanner showed him the truth. The humans' combat systems were still at peak efficiency, still ready for more. "We are the Meridian Collective," the commander declared. "We do not run." James looked around the bridge. His tactical display showed him everything. Weapon systems destroyed, engines crippled, communications dead. Through the viewport, he could see the remains of their fleets scattered across orbit. "Then you should have learned," James said. "Should have studied us better. Should have asked yourselves why humans control so much territory despite being primitive. Should have wondered why other species warned their people about entering human space." The commander's 4 eyes blinked. "Because of things like you. Your hidden warriors." "No," James shook his head. "Because of what it takes to make us reveal them." His enhanced hearing picked up movement. More alien troops arriving. It didn't matter. His combat computer had already planned 40 different ways to kill everyone on this bridge. "Your collective saw a peaceful farming colony," James continued. "You saw simple humans living quiet lives. You thought us weak because we chose peace, but you never asked what we were choosing peace over. The alien troops burst onto the bridge, weapons ready. James didn't even look at them. His voice remained calm, but every alien present felt the cold truth in his words. Humanity doesn't hide its super soldiers because we're ashamed of them. We don't keep them sleeping because we're afraid of them. We hide them because we remember. We remember what happens when humanity's full military power is unleashed. Through the viewport, more explosions lit up space as other ACD soldiers reached the remaining alien ships. The collective's mighty invasion fleet was being systematically destroyed by enemies they couldn't even detect. "Your scanners can see what I am now," James said. "The metal in my bones, the combat computers in my brain, the enhanced muscles and reflexes. But you still don't understand what I was before." "And what was that?" the commander asked. "A man who just wanted peace. A soldier who chose to sleep rather than fight. A human who would have let your ships pass by if you had just left us alone." James's enhanced eyes focused on the commander. A person who loved his dog. The last alien ship in orbit exploded. The commander received the final report: total defeat. An entire invasion fleet destroyed, mostly by a single enhanced human warrior. "The collective will send more ships," the commander warned. "More soldiers, more weapons." James nodded. "Good, because now they'll face more than just me. You woke us up. All of us. Every hidden super soldier watching over every human colony. And we won't go back to sleep until the galaxy learns." "Learns what?" "That humanity's peace is a choice, and you should be very, very grateful when we choose it." James's combat systems highlighted the commander's vital points. One strike would end this, but he had a better idea. "You're going to live," James told him. "You're going to take your surviving troops and limp back to your collective. And you're going to tell them what happened when they killed one super soldier's dog, what happened when they mistook humanity's restraint for weakness." The commander understood. This wasn't just revenge for a pet. This was a message to the galaxy. "One last thing," James said, turning to leave. "When your leaders ask how to avoid this happening again, tell them the rule is simple." He paused at the broken doorway, his enhanced muscles tensed for the fighting still to come. "Never kill a super soldier's dog."